everybody, welcome back to Crackin' Books Open. I'm Noelle, and this is our very last episode for The Wizard's First Rule, which is the first book in the series. It has been 4 weeks now, guys. We've made it a whole month of posting these every single week, so I hope that this consistency is something that you like. I hope that you found some value from this book and at least some interest in it. First, if you've not taken the chance to subscribe, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. You can set notifications on if you want to be notified when new video and new content comes out. Overall, guys, I really enjoyed this book. I was eating it up. I was waiting just so I would wait until Friday to start reading, and then I could start filming on Sundays and try to just piece it slowly so I can just savor the book. And I really enjoyed this one. I would rate it a 4 because it was interesting. It had back to back adventure. I'm talking there's dragons, there's murder, there's mystery, there's sadness, there's happiness, there's laugh. At some points I actually laughed out loud at the book. It had my heart feeling every single twist and turn in this book. When they were worried, I was worried. When they were sad, I was sad. I even teared up at the death of one of my favorite characters. The author did an amazing job at keeping me emotionally invested in this book. So I would recommend this. This book is basically about 3 major characters who are on a mission to save the world and just prevent evil from consuming everything and everyone. So, who are these major characters? I'll tell you. First, we have Zed, who's a wizard. Then we have Kaylin, who's a confessor. And lastly, Richard, who is the seeker, and most of the story is told through his eyes. Then we also have to mention that the big, the bad, the ugly, the evil, the dark and raw. He is the villain in this storyline, and all 3 of them are trying the hardest to fight against him and his rule. Up until this point, they have witnessed murders being done, they've heard of rapings, they've seen lots of brutal things happening. There's been shadow figures that have creeped their way out of the underworld to get them. There's been kidnappings. All sorts of action has been introduced into this book. There's so much going on throughout this entire book. It's hard to get bored in it, which I very much appreciate. So if you guys are following along with my videos, you'll remember episode 3, the last episode I put out, I was pretty much disappointed with where the author took the direction of the book. And I was nervous to finish this book because I didn't want it to end on a bad note, because the first half of the book, I was just eating it up. Every single thing that was happening, I was right there. I was on the front line with them. I felt everything. And then that 3rd section came and I was just not impressed at all. So, like I said, I was really nervous to start this section, but the author did not whatsoever disappoint me. The last section of this book, the author really ended the book with a boom, and there were some plot twists that I didn't even expect. As you can see, I sticky noted my book, and I might have a problem. I love office supplies, so that's probably why I decided to do that. Anywho, that's it for the catch-up. Now let's get into what happened this week. Our very last chapters, our very last section, and our very last episode featuring this book. So do you guys remember when I was talking about Rachel, the little girl who was the playmate to the princess, and the princess was just mean and cruel to her? Well, her mother, the queen, had decided to imprison a lot of innocent people for stupid reasons too, like not having enough crops because the queen has already wiped out their resources. And if they don't agree with the queen, then they get thrown into prison. Kaylin and Zed are in search of Giller, who is another wizard, and they go to the palace where this queen is, and they go down to the prison, and they're asking everyone, why are you here? Are you innocent? And just trying to get a feel for what's going on, because ultimately they're there for Giller. And they find that these people are innocent. So she goes back to the queen, and she threatens her. She puts her in her place and sets free all of the prisoners. At this point, I'm like, yes, you go, girl. You made me so happy. I am so excited that you just freed all those people. And then on top of that, like, threatened the queen, put her in her place. She needed to hear all that. So I was pretty caught up in that moment. This book gave me anxiety through the roof. When they go to find Giller, they don't know that he's been captured and is being tortured by Dark and Rawl. So if Rawl is still there in the palace and he's been talking about what he would do with Kaylin, oh my goodness. All I'm thinking is like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Are they gonna face off right there? So they find Giller, and poor man, he is a good man. He sacrificed himself for the greater good, for that little girl, for Richard and everybody else. He sacrificed himself, but he died a horrific death. Later, they catch up with Rachel and Chase was the one who guided them through the barrier. But they catch up to them, and they explain what's going on, and Kaylin and Richard explain what's going on as well for their side. They talk about how they found Giller and whatnot. And they realize that this little girl has the box of Orden that they've been looking for. And they get her to trust them, and they get the box. My favorite part of this reading, and maybe of the whole dang book, it just happens to be my favorite character, and you can read into it however you want. The Mord Sith, Mistress Denna. Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure that if I was to play a villain in any movie, any show, it would totally be her. I am not even kidding you. I'm reading the stuff that she's capable of doing and capable of thinking, and I'm like, the world is lucky that I am a good person, because I saw some similarities in between her and I love this character. Anywho, let me give you a gist of what a Mord Sith is. They are these people who are trained in torture. And now, after that I've said that, you guys are probably gonna think that I'm psycho. But she's trained in torture. Richard is her prisoner at this point, and Rawl has instructed her to torture him. Make sure that he is broken, his will is broken, his own thinking is broken, that he can't think for himself. And she does a pretty smashing job at destroying this man inside and out, physically and mentally. And at first I'm like, geez, this woman is sadistic. She's evil. I thought Rawl was evil. This woman is like 10 times more. I don't understand why he is the big, the bad, when people like her exist, and they just seem much, much worse than Rawl. And reading her personality and the actions that she does, it's pretty intense, pretty gory, and it's like, at first she's taking a lot of enjoyment out of what she's doing, and then the longer that Richard is with her, the more she's kind of humanized, and the more you learn about her, the more you start to like her. So that was the case with me. The more I read about their situation and how he was analyzing her actions and her thought process, the more I liked her. Because not only was she hurting him, she was hurting herself the same level, the same magnitude, the same way, same methods. She felt everything that he felt. And I'm talking like the worst pain you can think of in the world. She would do it to him, but also do it to her. And when you're first reading, she's like, you're so lucky that it's me. You're lucky that I didn't let you die. You're lucky that I brought you back and healed you and then tried to bring you back to the brink of death, where any other Mord Sith would just let you die. But I did it because I care, type of thing. And you're like, you're just crazy. Yeah, you're just crazy. But then later on, you realize that she actually cares about him and they fall in love with each other. As weird as that sounds, and kind of like out of nowhere, they end up having a love interest and she makes him her mate. She's never been treated the way that he treats her, and it's almost in a way kind of a special bond for him. I don't even know how to describe this for you. It's all gonna come out sounding really weird, so here we go. I will try my best to explain it. He can tell when she's holding back and why she's holding back, and it's usually because she cares for him. She doesn't really want to do all these things to her, but she has to. I definitely felt sad for her because this is a life that she was forced to live. This is a life that she was forced to live, a career, for lack of a better word, that she was forced to do. This is not something that she actually had a choice in. So when she was young, she was actually tortured and abused and treated the exact same way. And this is what led her to becoming a Mord Sith. She really had no choice. I felt sad for her. It hurt to see how much she had broken him at times, and I couldn't imagine anyone living a life like that. Part of what made her fall for him is the fact that even after being brutally handled, he still showed a side of gentleness towards her, like, I'm sorry you have to torture me. I'm sorry you have to do this because of me. I'm sorry I'm a burden. And he's just so sweet and so genuine, and he really doesn't want anybody to hurt. He really doesn't want to cause any kind of pain to anyone, even if they're giving him pain. And it's really sweet, and it's what catches her attention. So in order to be free, he had to kill her, and I teared up at this part. It made me so sad because we've gone through what feels like a long time of just seeing their relationship and seeing the bonding between the two and the compassion that they share and their love, however weird and however weird and unconventional that is. And to find out that the only way to be free is to kill her is so rough. I really wanted her to live. I didn't want her to die. I didn't want them to kill her off because she took my favorite place. I still like Zed, but he's more of a comedic relief here and there. But Mord Sith, she's my girl. Okay, so if we fast forward a little bit, we get to a part where all of the companions, Kaylin and Zed, Chase, they all think that Richard is dead, that he was murdered by the Mord Sith. And so he ends up getting a wizard's web spell to disguise him against his will to make him look like Darken Rahl. So everybody comes to a head and meets at the place that Rahl has been bunkering down in. This is the end of the book. This is where we get to see who wins the situation, who saved the world or who ruined the world, how they get the boxes all together, how they open the boxes. We find out more information about the book. Guys, I told you, did I not say that Michael was going to be the one? Michael was in on it the entire time. He knew every single step, every single plan that Rahl had for Richard. Every single thing, like down to the torture bits. And his brother didn't even think to like, oh, I care about you so much, let me save you. No. So we finally figured it out. And spoiler alert, that man got what he deserved because he got beheaded in the end. What? Yes, they took his head. Thank you. There's a lot that goes down in the end of the book, and I am impressed with the fact that he didn't mess up the ending. If you like fantasy, if you like adventure, if you like dark things, if you like gore, this is a really good book to start. All right, guys, so I do want to warn you that we're going to take a break, just a short break from this series since we finished the first book. And in its place, I'm going to review a book from a small author. And I will let you know exactly what my thoughts are and how this book goes next week. I am super, super excited to keep reading it. I've already started it, and it's a really special opportunity for me. They reached out to me via Facebook, so I'm super excited. That being said, if you have a book that you want me to review or read, go ahead and shoot me an email at krakenbooksopen.com. Woo! Ha! If you have a book that you would like me to review, go ahead and send an email to me at krakenbooksopen@gmail.com, or go to my website, krakenbooksopen.com, and if you go to the contact page, you will also have that contact information. You can leave a comment down below. Please subscribe, like, share, help me grow. Thank you for all the support that you have already brought. If you would like to sponsor a book, I will have the wish list down below. Feel free to pick a book from the wish list or not pick a book from the wish list. Is there just, a book that you think that I would enjoy or that you enjoy that you want me to read and review, then go ahead, purchase it, send it to the P.O. box, and I will keep you updated.